美国记者要求中国代表用英文回答。
第一段
The innovation and everything in China is so high speed. You can't be ignorant to it, so you need to adapt it.
Are there planting seeds all over the world? They've got time, money, and resources, and they're doing that. They're a wise and smart country.
They are strong in economics, so yes, I think that China is the next first nation of the world.
And for this you have to know China, you have to go to China, you have to deal with China, you have to speak to China, you have to ask China.
A lot of my electronics are also made in China. Even European brands are made in China.
This gap between German quality work and quality product.
Never listen to that nonsense where they say they discriminate against foreigners. That's absolutely lies. These people respect you, in fact, if you are a foreigner, sometimes more than their own people. China is really the place to be right now. And this is the place where I feel safe. I feel safe of having my baby here and my wife. China is a riot-free country. Look, it's not even in the nature of Chinese people to protest and make a big hoo-ha. They are not people like this. And they don't need to do it because their government look after them so well that they don't need to stand up against their government. They are being looked after so bloody well over here in China, and that is something the rest of the world can only dream about. Here in China, there's peace on the streets, again, because their government take care of them in a perfect way. It's a perfect system over here in China.
500 entire cities from scratch. Moved the majority of their huge population from poverty to the middle class, and mostly cornered the market in 5G and pharmaceuticals. Oh, and they bought Africa. Their new Silk Road initiative is the biggest infrastructure project in history, indebting not just that continent, but large parts of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East to the people who built their roads, bridges, and ports. If you
第三段
하나폰으로
원래 배달 문화가 없지 않아요?
그러니까?
중국에는?
有的통화하면
원래 중국엔 배달 문화가 없지 않아요?
지금 있어요.
얼마 정도 됐어요? 最近几年发展的特别快。
什么外卖呀？
那是什么奶茶吗
Coco。
哦 ，Coco。 milk tea。
네.
第四段
Working there as an expat truly was one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. Now, when you start working in China, you'll quickly realize that the Chinese people are actually some of the hardest working people that you'll ever meet. There's a phrase that has been trending in Chinese internet over the last 2 years, and that is 996. What this refers to is working from 9 in the morning till 9 in the evening, 6 days a week. Now, this 72-hour work week, which is very common in the Chinese tech industry and nearly double what we are used to here in the West, just gives an insight and a testament to why the Chinese economy is growing so fast and rapidly these past few decades. The Chinese...
第五段
Extremely safe, I would say. I think it's probably safer than England, to be honest. In England, there's a lot more street violence. There's big problems at the moment with acid and knife attacks in the UK. I don't see any evidence of that happening here.
Public safety, I think, is probably the safest place in the world right now, in my opinion. Kind of a night shift in Paris, and there's some parts of Paris you can't really go to because you don't want to risk yourself being robbed. Or in Beijing with so I feel way more safer walking in the streets at 3 a.m. without being scared at all.
The town I used to live in, you constantly hear guns.
第六段
이거 기술력이 엄청나네. 와, 이거 뭐야 이거? 이 바람이 너무 세가지고 빠르다 보니까 바람이 날리는구나. 이렇게 바람까지 들어오다니. 눈이 아파.
第七段
I think a big economic powerhouse that is going to be one of the major countries in the next few years, definitely.
I can only think about their food, really. That's it.
They've got good food.
They're very fast-paced.
They've got quite a lot of power climate-wise as well for influencing the rest of the world.
I studied at Beijing University and Fudan University as well.
What has your experience been like living in China?
Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. It was...
第八段
Yeah, I think the master of this game is an old man.
Old man who can read.
Who can read.
Yes,
But I will take some stones and put them under my pillow tonight. And tomorrow I will know it.
Maybe you should take this kind of.
Yes,
Yes,
more
only
like
this
this.
ones.
Yeah,
This one.
only
Yes.
have the character you don't know that.
This
Yes,
one.
yeah.
This is
One.
I take some randomly and tell you the names, okay?
Okay.
8.
No,
8 is this. 8 is this. That I remember.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like 2,
2,
but it's
okay.
8.
2, yeah, because 10 minus 2 is 8.
Okay.
Okay.
So
8
this is
I know.
5.
But 5, 6, 7 is and 9 it's complicated for me.
9. This
These
is
are complicated.
this.
Yes.
第9段，
之前在美国，现在在中国也是在做影视前期开发的。那我们可以看到，国外的电影实际上它在价值输出上，尤其是好莱坞做得非常成功。而且我们可以说，80后、90后这一代是被好莱坞文化洗脑的一代。像前一阵子我在去看这个环太平洋的时候，它无论是科技还是它的故事，还是整个画面给你的这种感受，实际上不是我们国产影片可以就技术上而言是不能比的。但是它还有很多其他硬件，无论是视觉还是它的整个这种操作的方式，跟我们还是非常不同的。可是像我们最近这几年，像过去1年吧，国内我们国产片的市场在国内赢得了将近200个亿的收入，100。
第10段。
You are an accomplice to terrorists and colonizers!
Woo! Nikki, can you see? Nikki, can't you see? You are feeling free!
Come on, guys.
Nikki, can't you see? You are feeling free! Haley, you can't hide! You signed off on genocide! Nikki Haley, you can't hide!
你好吗？谁是你 Chinese. It's too late. It's too late to learn Chinese. It's over. No, it's true. It's true because it's also one of the hardest languages in the world. I mean, how do you learn Chinese now? Just they've got over 10,000 characters in the alphabet. You know this? 10,000 characters. We've got 26 in English. And there's still people going, what comes after Q? 26. This is, 10,000 they've got. That's super smart. Although they must have the worst Sesame Street in the world. It must suck being a Muppet in that country. I can just see them on a Monday morning singing to the kids.
第11段。
特别羡慕的地方，你们都羡慕中国的什么呢？代表2个国家，多说点哈，
这个镜头绝对不会剪哈。
你的嘴角还挂着中国的食物，
中国的药。我作为一个阿根廷人，非常羡慕中国的高铁。谢谢。
你谢谢什么？
因为阿根廷没有高铁，然后本来阿根廷有很大的一个铁道网，但是90年代的时候，那个铁道都被私有化了，所以只剩下首都和首都附近的那些铁道，所以很少。然后现在很破很烂，然后就可能从我老家到首都市中心可能需要1个多小时的时间，但是如果你开车就需要40分钟，
比开车
对比开车还要慢，对，所以我觉得这个高铁做得非常好，在中国。
上海到北京那个高铁多爽啊！
对啊，
对，真的很4个小时48分钟，我是 VIP 了都快。
然后阿根廷有一个 A 线，那个 A 线是
第12段。
体会了所谓的老外生活，就会爱上这个国家，不想离开。中国人对老外一般是比较友好热情，老外在生活上有困难的话，很容易找到中国人帮忙。而且还有个事情，就是有一些中国人是很喜欢外国人的长相，可能就是因为审美观也稍微不一样。我来自欧洲，我们这个大洲在高科技领域已经跟不上节奏了，因此我们欧洲人第一次到中国就会非常欣赏中国的高科技，从网购到手机支付到共享车等等，这些事情都会让生活方便很多。体验了之后再回到欧洲原来的那个状态就很难了。第4个原因就是
第13段。
是真的，不是假的。 大家好，我是不见外的潘维廉，你们可以叫我老潘，我没那么老。因为我曾是一家美国公司的老板，是大学的教授，越教越瘦。但我最喜欢的身份还是中国厦门人。因为我最喜欢的一首歌也是闽南歌，三婚天主家，七婚口牌表，爱表家，哎呀，嘿。1988年，我和家人第一次来到厦门，住进了厦大的度假楼，却一点没有度假的感觉。但是大街上倒是挺热闹，南来北往的小贩不停地叫卖，山西陈醋，东北老酒，内蒙古药。
第14段。
Aux USA, t'achètes une boisson, tu peux la remplir autant de fois que tu veux.
要是铁蛋在美国生活1年，他可能会多40斤。我比算，你想一下，铁蛋多40斤，一个大的鸡蛋。我们不停地在说啊，多好吃。但是如果我要真心的说实话，不好吃就是不好吃。我不是说你不能吃，要是你在医院的话，你会觉得这个是。
第15段。
真正的来实现定义气候变化的目标。可是我们现在看，一些国家，我们不是看你说什么，我们是看你在做什么。到现在为止，有一些国家已经做出了承诺，但是他并没有落实他的承诺，并没有兑现他的承诺，并没有采取真正的行动。大幅度率先减排，讲了吗？要为发展国家提供资金和技术，你提供了吗？我们讲了20年，到现在并没有兑现。我们是发展的国家，我们要发展，我们要消除贫困，我们要保护环境。
第16段。
They make up for 40% of the population here are minorities, mostly Bui and Miao minorities. No matter you're a minority or not, here in China, everyone is treated the same, treated equally. In fact, some of the minorities, they actually get special treatment, better treatment than, say, Han Chinese. For example, minority students in high school or whatever, when they're taking their entrance exam or they're trying to get into their university of choice and you need points to get in, minority students will actually be given extra points that will go towards their...
第17段.
China sees a problem and they fix it. They build a dam. We debate what to rename it. That's why their airports look like this and ours look like this. In San Francisco, it took 10 years just to get 2 bus lines through environmental review. The Big Dig, a tunnel in Boston.
第18段.
That we're not investing in the young generation of Americans, that we're willing to lose the race for artificial intelligence to the Chinese, that we're going to break all of our long-standing alliances since World War II at a moment when China is rising. The China's GDP has quadrupled since 2001, tripled since 2003, doubled since 2009. Do we think that no one in the rest of the world knows all of that about us? While the Chinese are landing spacecraft on the dark side of the moon. That's what they're doing.
第19段.
And mostly cornered the market in 5G and pharmaceuticals. Oh, and they bought Africa. Their new Silk Road initiative is the biggest infrastructure project in history, indebting not just that continent, but large parts of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East to the people who built their roads, bridges, and ports. If you want to go anywhere in the world these days, you better have a yen for travel. Yen for travel. Oh, stop it. In China alone, they have 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail. America has none. Our fastest train is the train that goes around the zoo. China sees a problem, and they fix it. They build a dam. We debate what to rename it.
第20段
To a new world where America becomes number 2. So these three big strategic mistakes, I think explain why the American population today is a very troubled population and feels very insecure about the world. I wouldn't say that China has been making strategic mistakes, but I think it has been making some tactical mistakes. I think there was a point after the great global financial crisis in 2008, 2009, when some Chinese policymakers saw how badly the American and European economies performed in that crisis. And China, as you know, sailed through the crisis and continued to grow significantly. I think there were some Chinese policymakers also became overconfident and became a bit too pushy in their relationships with some of their neighbors. And